Alright guys, we're going to do a little unboxing overview today and a quick in the field session with it. I'm going to have a second part video coming up doing a lot more of the thermal imaging at night and testing out all the different modes and such, but we'll throw up a little bit in this video. So if you want to see real extensive nighttime testing, make sure you subscribe, hit the bell, click all for the notifications. Stay tuned, we'll have that coming up. So this is by OneLeaf, as you can see there, Mars MT1000. I got pretty much all the options here with this one. I got the optional rangefinder, at least I believe that's optional. The lenses are definitely optional because you can order it with just the 35 or the 50. I think I've seen something about 70 millimeter possibly in the works. You know, pick your SD card size there because you can record with it. But we got an SD card in here with this one. We got the rangefinder, and we have the two different lenses here. So you're going to see that it says 1:8 magnification on the digital zoom there. Okay, but in actuality that is up to 22x zoom. So with the 35 millimeter lens, you're getting 2 to 16x, and then with the 50 millimeter, you're getting 2.8 to 22.4x. So don't get that confused. The digital zoom there is not the true magnification level. It's just basically how many settings in the digital zoom you got there to click through. So most of what you guys are going to want to know is on the box here. So we'll go over that real quick, and then I'll tear into her. So it's got automatic lens detection. You can see the little diodes or whatever you would call them in there, and it locks, and you stick it in there and twist, and then it locks in place. And then there's a tab you'll pull to unlock to switch to the different lens if you have different lenses. So it automatically detects which one of those lenses are in there. Again, you can see there it's showing you have interchangeable lenses. 6 scene mode, I'll go over that. You got 11 different collar platelets in here for the thermal imaging. That's what I was talking about in the second video. I'm going to show all of those, test them all out. You got 6 different, it's got a ballistics calculator in it, and you can save 6 different files for either the same gun with different loads, or, you know, 6 different guns if you want. Rangefinder, like I said, and yeah, it does say optional there. So that is an option you would have to select. You can order it with just the 35 mil lens and that's it, or you can get it fully optioned out with all the other stuff, but you will have to order it as such. One shot zero, so you can take one shot, and as long as it's on paper. It's got a thing in the menu where you can bring your crosshairs, depending on where you're aiming and where you hit, you bring them up to your impact, or it might be vice versa. You aim at your impact and then bring them back down the bullseye. I think that's how it works. So it does have one shot zero capability, which is nice. Video recording, as I stated earlier, you can take photographs as well if you don't want to take video. It does have a microphone, so when you record video, it'll pick up your voice as well. It's got a gyroscope in it, picture-in-picture mode. So basically, when you're looking through this, it's got kind of like a square screen, like a TV, and then it has this little square. If you have it selected picture-in-picture mode, you can turn it on or off. It'll, whatever your crosshair's looking up, it'll blow it up in an even further enlarged image, whether you're zoomed all the way in or all the way out of that very specific area that the center crosshair is aiming at. So that is an option that you can turn on or off while using it. It's got a compass, you got the HD port, IP67 waterproof there. So let me go ahead and get this plastic wrap off the outside, get her opened up for you. All right, let's see what's inside here. And these things are always packaged awesome. I've had a couple different night vision scopes from them, and absolutely love those things. I can't wait to try out this thermal, but they always package them really safe and tight in here. Lots of padding. So you're gonna have your user manual instructions on top there. Always very detailed instructions, and collared as well. I was wondering about this actually. So you can change your reticle. It did not show that on the outside box. I don't think they can show as much because the box is smaller than the night vision scopes. And on the, of course, this is night vision as well, but it's thermal imaging instead of just, you know, black and white. But on those, and I'm wondering if you could do it on this one. not only could you change your reticle, but you could select color as well. I believe you can choose whether you want first focal plane or second focal plane, like on the night vision scopes that I've reviewed on the channel. Which, by the way, check out the parts, accessories, and optics playlist on the channel for that. And I was just wondering if you could change the reticle color on this one as well.
Yes, in fact, you can change the reticle color and whether it's first focal plane or second.
Got a screen wipe there. 3-year warranty. Looks like some warnings and stuff. Maybe some tips. So it's just going to be inside of here. Duh, right? So there she is. Like I said, nice tight foam padding. Of course, with this on top, you know, it keeps everything pinned in place. So there's your charging cable, which on that note, really awesome that this one has a removable battery, because on their night vision scopes that I reviewed, one model had an extra battery that was removable that was extra power source to add to the internal batteries, and another one I reviewed only had the internal batteries. So this one has the removable battery there, and they also have the option to select extra batteries if you want, so you can have, you know, a whole pocket full of them charged up if you plan on being out in the field, you know, all night with this thing. It has up to a 5-hour battery life depending on usage, but if you want extra, you can just swap them out now. So that's awesome. Looks like the rangefinder there is already mounted up for me. It's got the big lens on. Got your cap there, so it's already got that 50 mil up on top there. It's hard to show. It doesn't allow me to record going through the menu settings and all that, but this has, I think, a very user-friendly menu. The very first one I got, the night vision one, it didn't take me very long at all to find everything I needed to find and do everything. It was actually easier for me just to mess around going through different things than it was to read the whole instruction pamphlet there. So I think it's got a great user interface there, real easy to use. You got your diopter on the back here, so you can adjust it for your own personal eyesight.
You also have an adjustable objective on the front there that turns.
I should know this by now, what the heck goes under here. Oh, that's all your access points for the cords and the SD card and all that. There's your little lock, like I said, for the lenses that you can change. Your power buttons on the side there. Get this back on. And then the remainder here, you got another cap for the rear back here. There's your smaller 35 mil lens. Again, the extra lenses are optional, as is the rangefinder, so order accordingly. There's your little scrunchy thing for the back that you can attach. It'll just, what do we got going on here? We got more caps. It'll just screw in back here. So in the, you know, the middle of the night, that does produce some light in there, which you can adjust that as well, I believe. But if you don't want any like light coming out of this, shining on your face and lighting your face up in the middle of the night, that's what this guy's for. So you just put it up against your eye socket, real soft, spongy, squishy rubber there. So that's what that's for. You don't have to use it, but probably a good idea at night. Of course, you got your little tool bag there. Some extra O-rings and seals and such. Comes with the mount. It's in here somewhere. Some of those screws were for the mount. It mounts to a Picatinny base. There's your HDMI. And that's what's in here. You got a little carry bag in case you just want to use this, you know, not on a rifle, which a lot of the footage I'm going to show you guys, at least in the second part video where we test all that out, you know, I'm going to be walking out in front of it and stuff, so I'm not going to have it mounted to any firearm. So that's what this little carry bag's for. You can carry it around in your pocket and just use it as a handheld device there if you wish to do so. So that's going to come in handy for me. And there's your mounting base. So I think that pretty much covers it for the overview. We're going to take her down to the range now and get her sighted in, you know, shoot several hundred yards with it. I'll show you a little bit of the thermal imaging, and then we'll wrap this one up. That way it doesn't end up being a 30 or 40 minute video. But like I said, I will have a part 2 coming up where we're going to do a lot more thermal imaging. You know, we'll try to get some animals, and, you know, I'll go out real far and all that, and we'll test the different settings. You know, again, it has 11 different, not the proper terminology, but, you know, 11 different color modes, heat modes, whatever. So So again, stay tuned for that part 2 if you want to see this thing really tested out in the dark against living critters and stuff like that. And we'll test out all the parameters.
So this is a little bit of a learning curve for me. I just assumed that I could use it very easily during the day because obviously, being a thermal scope, it's focused on night vision usage. But, it picks up heat signatures, so you can use it during the day. It's just not the greatest. Now, their night vision scopes that I previously reviewed on the channel, they were true day and night. You could use them in the day just as good as you can at night. It's full color picture and everything, just like a regular scope, but not so much with the thermal here. With the sun up, even though it's kind of an overcast day, you still got residual heat coming from the sun, so it kind of tends to like light everything up. So, and one thing I didn't realize rather, that I couldn't really see my target. Like I could see the target, but I couldn't make out the little dots that I was trying to aim at on the target to actually sight it in and group it. You need a heat signature to sight it in. So I got the little box down there, and the way I did it, and I'll show a quick image, I just cut out little holes, and you can tape like a hot hands pack to the back of it, and then you can see it glowing through the holes there, and that's how you sight it in. So that's what I did here. I had a huge brain fart moment. I was trying to figure out how to get this thing focused down here all day, and stupid me, it has an adjustable objective on the front. It just spins back and forth to focus it. I assumed since you have to twist that front piece to lock on your lens choice, that it did not adjust that way, but that is in fact how it focuses. So these images and recordings here look absolutely terrible because it was out of focus the entire time, so keep that in mind. But I'll roll in real quick, shooting at this thing, so you can see the heat signatures through the holes in the box and me shooting at them and getting it zeroed and all that. And then I'll have a little more footage out in the field for you, but we'll have way more coming up in part 2 of all the night vision stuff with the different animals I hope to capture and distances and color platelets and all that. So it works much better at night than it does during the day, because during the day, even if it's not full sun, everything's holding heat compared to at night. So you'll see it here real quick. Again, it's out of focus and it's daytime, so not ideal. It looks far better at night, as you will see here in just a moment after the sight in process here, and everything's cooler, so the heat signatures are a lot more clear. And I also remembered, or figured out rather, how to focus it for the night vision portion.
And actually, real quick, here's my first clip walking down range here, trying to display for you guys. Pay close attention to the bottom right here. You're going to see something heat up. There it goes right there. So I think it's like the sun moving through the cloud, but as soon as I walk in frame here, everything disappears. You see that? So that's how this thing is designed to work. Like, it picks up heat signatures, but it's going to illuminate whatever is the hottest thing that it sees. So if you're just looking out on open scenery and there's no animal or person or anything out there, it kind of just shows heat and signatures everywhere, because whatever is the hottest, it's going to illuminate, whether it's 100 degrees, 150 degrees, 200 degrees or not. The hottest areas it lights up. So you could see that there in that grass, that it was lighting up those sections of grass like my legs are currently, even though, obviously it was nowhere near as hot as my leg, because I'm out here on like I think it was like 45-degree day, and then it just disappears as soon as I walk in. So, but you can see how out of focus it is here. Like, everything looks fuzzy, and again, this is daylight, so even if I had it in focus, it works and looks much better at night because everything else is cool. Which brings up a good point. On a summer day, things stay warm for a while after the sun's gone down, so you're still going to get some residual heat coming off of trees and plants and dirt and rocks and stuff like that. So you have to keep that in mind. If you try to use it during a hot summer night right after the sun goes down, it's probably actually going to take a few hours before the animal out in the field is hotter than the rock that has been under the glaring sun all day. But anyways, there's me down there past 100 yards, if I remember correctly. Very out of focus because, again, I failed to discover how to focus the thing this day. So when we switch to the other area here in this video, it's in focus a lot better. So plus it's at night as well. So just keep that in mind when you see me
shooting at the little target I made here, that it's completely out of focus, so it would have looked way better even though it was daytime. But at night is when this thing really comes alive, because you don't have the sun out and everything, heating everything up.
And this is audio and video footage from the scope itself right here.
All right, so at 25, I mean, I guess I can see my target there. This is the 50-yard mound.
So even though I had this thing extremely out of focus here, at 25 yards, you can actually see the dots on the target. But at 25, at 50, I was having a hard time making those out. So if I had discovered how to focus it when I was trying to sight it in here, I probably could have still seen those dots on my non-heated target there at 50 yards and done a little 50-yard zero, provided that I had a regular scope or spotting scope or whatever to see the holes, or just go down and check it.
But again, the main purpose is the heat signals. So now that I got these down here, we should be able to see them pretty good. It looks like a face. So let me go through the different modes here real quick. We'll see what it looks like on different ones. Now that I actually have a heat signature, so that's black hot. So black is hot. And that says glory hot. So now you can see them real easy. So you can imagine if there was a animal out there, it would really light up. That's kind of cool. That's white hot. Again, it still looks like a face, but I mean, see, you're going to be aiming at your hot spots. So that's really what you're going for with a thermal here. And now this is sepia. And again, I think it's probably kind of weird looking out here in the day when it's cold. Can't wait to try this thing out at night. Iron bow, rainbow, classic green, night vision, aurora, and red hot, jungle, medical. There goes a freaking hawk. Where'd he go? Around there. I got someone pulling in here too. Anyways, let's get to zero in this thing. Now these aren't going to leave a signature on the box, so we'll have to use a spotting scope or whatever, and hopefully we're on the box here. So here we go. Okay, there we go. See him down there, bottom right.
Made a quick adjustment with the one-shot zero function, but I could not see those holes through the scope because there's no heat signature, so it just got us close.
All right, this should have put us a lot closer. So we're gonna finalize at 50. See where we're at here.
So you can see those two shots there pretty much touching just on the edge of bullseye there, so I went ahead and moved it down to 50 yards now to finalize. Now we're down here at 50. You should be able to see these two shots go dead center on that little square cutout.
Alright, well I saw the first shot, not sure the second. I mean, it should have been right in there, so it's close enough for today. I would like to finalize it some more, but go ahead and reach out here. It looks like that guy was glowing a little bit, at least in the center. There's a hole in it. Maybe that's where the sun's hitting it and lighting it up. 150 yards.
Again, this is during the day and out of focus because I could not figure out how to focus it. Again, the front is it's an adjustable objective. You just simply twist the front to focus it. I just didn't figure that out this day. And here's a prime example. So here's a nice, clean, crisp image from at night in focus. So you can see a massive difference there. But I was getting a little bit of heat signature from my target there. It was a metal target, and the center was actually bowed out there, so even though it was a cold day, it was actually starting to warm it up a little bit. But that's why the grass still looks hotter, because the grass has been exposed to the sun all day, unlike my target that I just set down there. And that's what I'm talking about there. The grass looks all hot there because the grass is the hottest thing down there right now because it's been under the sun all day. Again, if I walked down there right now, all that heat from the grass would disappear, and it would just focus the heat on me because I would then be the hottest thing down there. Which is also why this kind of works better at night. But still, you've seen earlier in the video, I walk down there, all the heat signature from the grass disappears and it focuses on me.
I just want to show you real quick, you can change the reticle color like I discussed, so if it's blending in with whatever setting you're using, you can change it accordingly like I said.
So again, you're really going to want to stay tuned to part 2, but real quick, here's the ferret in the cage inside the house with, the lights on and everything. You can see him clear as day, and it's still out of focus. I will show you some finally in focus photos when we go out to a field here for some night vision stuff, but there's the ferret running around, and here's actually a cat down in the hallway, and it's kind of neat when he takes off. You can see where he was sitting is still hot on the ground, and I don't know why it makes the carpet look so weird though. Alright, so here we're down at a lake, and these people across the way are over 400 yards away. Sorry about the shakes. In part 2 I'll get much better images and much more steady. It's super steady on the rifle, but obviously I have it dismounted and it's handheld here, so it's real hard to hold it still. I might try to see if I can mount it to a tripod or something. But anyways, at no point in this am I zoomed in all the way, and these guys are over 400 yards away here. And I actually only had it focused for like 200 yards, so again, I forgot to focus it for the 400 and 500 yards I was looking there. So if I refocus, it'd probably look better still. But stay tuned for part 2 coming up shortly, where it's just gonna be a whole bunch of nighttime footage like this, and I'll be sure to get it nice and steady and all that, and we'll try different ranges and go through all the different colors and stuff like that and make sure everything's absolutely in focus. But even considering that, I think this looks pretty dang good, but I know it could improve it because I only had it focused to 200 and I'm looking out 400 here. So stay tuned for that part 2, but overall, I gotta say, I'm actually pretty impressed with this thing, especially once I figured out how to focus it. I don't honestly think, at least I cannot find it, I don't think you can find one this nice for this low of a price. You can find some thermal imaging scopes for less, but the sensor, the resolution on the thermal sensor is much lower. So this is a 640 by 512, I believe it was. And that's pretty high up there, staying under $10,000 anyways. That's pretty top of the line sensor resolution there. So if you do find them cheaper, they have the sensor's not nearly as good. This one is also a 60 hertz refresh rate, which it's actually adjustable. You can go 60, 50, or 30 for power saving or whatever. But that refresh rate's going to help you out there as well, especially under movement, keeping it clear and crisp. So a lot of the other ones, the refresh rate isn't that good. And this one has a ton of features that others won't. Some will, some won't. But like being able to change your reticle color, being able to change the reticle itself, being able to change between first focal plane and second focal plane, and then it has a ballistics app in it, a calculator where you can store, what was it, I think 6 different profiles. It's got the one-shot zero, so all kinds of options with this thing. I really don't think you can find anything better for the price. And honestly, a lot of the ones that would even come close to competing with this one are going to be at least double the price. You can spend $5,000-$6,000 to still not get any better performance than what you get out of this one. So for what this thing does and the resolution of the thermal sensor and how far it reads and all that, and you could even see there in that lake, where those people were at was 400 some yards, but you can still see clear across the lake again behind them. and the trees back there are lit up a little bit because the bark on the tree is still a little warm from the sun being out earlier in the day. So that's got to be like 1,000 yards back there, and you could still see back there. So I might even arrange something to where like I go walk out there or have someone else walk out there in those woods, over 1,000 yards away. Again, stay tuned for part two. I'll see what I can arrange. We're gonna have a lot better footage, but I really want to test that out, see what it'll pick up at 1,000 yards away. And that's the other thing with those cheaper ones, man. If you can even find a cheaper one, they're not going to pick up stuff 1,000 yards away like this one will. And that's the other thing I noticed in some review videos I was watching of not only this one but others. People are only testing it close range, and of course it's going to pick up something that's less than 100 yards away. But what about further out? You go watch some reviews on some of the other budget-minded thermal optics out there, and you'll see that 95% of the people, they're only showing you stuff that's up close, like their cats and their dogs and stuff like that. And honestly, in most cases, it's because if they go much further out, it looks kind of like crap. So again, if you find one cheaper, you found less quality. It's not going to have as good as imaging as this, and certainly not as far out. So while you can find thermal scopes for less, the quality is far, far less. Like I said, I feel pretty confident saying that this thing probably competes with scopes costing 3 and 4 times as much. So I am super happy with the performance and features for the price range, and you guys are going to see way more of that in part 2. So again, stay tuned for that, and hopefully I can get some stuff out at 1,000 yards, unlike everyone else's reviews where it's all close range, and you'll see just what this thing can really do. But I think we've already done a pretty good job of demonstrating the capabilities of this thing, but I'll expand on that even further in part 2. But there's a link in the description of this guy if you want to check it out in more detail, or grab yourself one. Thanks for watching as always, and hopefully I will see you in part 2.